My name is Clara Bennett, and 2 years ago, I thought I had my life all figured out. I lived in Denver, Colorado, and worked as a wellness coach. My life revolved around early morning smoothies, yoga routines, client schedules, and nutritional charts. I believed in self sufficiency, planning, and staying one step ahead of every possible scenario. That is, until life tossed me into a chapter I hadn't planned for, one where I learned that sometimes it's okay to lean on someone else. It all started with my dad's health. He had a mild stroke in the fall of that year. I flew home to Greenville, North Carolina, thinking I'd just stay for a week or two to help out. My dad was a proud, independent man, retired Marine, still mowed his own lawn, still woke up before sunrise. But after the stroke, he needed help, real help, and he wasn't thrilled about it. I wasn't either. I loved my dad, but I hadn't lived in Greenville in over a decade. My whole life was in Denver. My clients, my apartment, my world. But the doctors said his recovery would be slow, and I couldn't leave him alone. So I stayed, moved into the guest room of my childhood home, and shifted my life to Zoom calls and remote work. I told myself I was there for his health, to help him get back to normal. That was the plan. Then I met Elijah Reed. Elijah wasn't part of the plan. He was my dad's new physical therapist, recommended by the hospital. He arrived one crisp Monday morning, right on time, with a calm voice and a clipboard in hand. He was tall, in his early 30s, with warm brown eyes and the kind of demeanor that made even stubborn men like my dad listen. At first, I kept my distance. I sat in the corner with my laptop during sessions, half working, half watching. Elijah was professional, encouraging, and patient. But it was the way he spoke to my dad, not at him, but to him, that caught my attention. He respected his independence. He challenged him gently. He listened. One afternoon, after a particularly frustrating session, my dad snapped at me. "You think being healthy is all smoothies and jogging, but when your body stops working the way it used to, that stuff doesn't matter anymore." I walked out of the room, fuming. Later, in the kitchen, Elijah found me staring blankly at the kettle. "Don't take it personally," he said. "He used to run marathons," I muttered. "Now he won't even do the arm exercises unless I guilt him. He doesn't want pity. He wants purpose." I blinked. That one sentence stayed with me. Over the next few weeks, Elijah came by 3 times a week. Sometimes I'd catch him early, sipping coffee on our porch before sessions. Other times, we'd bump into each other at the grocery store or the community park. We started talking about everything: his job, my business, what Greenville used to be like. He told me he'd grown up a few towns over, had moved back after working at a big hospital in Charlotte. Said he wanted to help people where it mattered most, where they didn't expect help to show up. I told him I admired that. I meant it. One night, after another long day of care routines and meal preps, I found myself outside on the porch. Elijah had just left, and the evening air felt heavy with thoughts I couldn't quite untangle. Why was I feeling so stuck? I had come here to help my dad. That was it. But more and more, I felt like I was learning things I hadn't signed up to learn. Like how to be still, how to let someone else take the lead, how to listen instead of fix. And somewhere in the middle of that, I started to feel something else. Not romance, not attraction, not at first, just comfort. Like Elijah was the first person in a long time who saw through the perfect planner mask I wore, and didn't mind what he found underneath. The turning point came on a rainy Saturday. The power had gone out, and the house was cold. My dad was asleep, bundled in blankets. I was trying to make soup on the gas stove when someone knocked on the door. It was Elijah, holding a flashlight and a thermos. "Thought you could use some hot tea," he said. I invited him in. We sat at the kitchen table by candlelight, sipping tea, listening to the storm. Then he said, "You ever think that helping someone might be the thing that helps you?" I looked at him. "What do you mean?" "I mean, maybe coming here wasn't just about your dad." I didn't have a response, but I thought about that for days. My dad improved steadily. He started walking on his own, cooking simple meals, arguing with me about the thermostat again, which, ironically, felt like a small miracle. One evening, as we ate dinner together, he said, "You know, I don't say it much, but you being here, it's made this bearable." I smiled. "You're not so bad yourself." Then he added, "And I like that Elijah kid. Smart, grounded. You could use someone like that." I laughed. "Dad." He shrugged. "Just saying." But that night, I couldn't sleep because I was starting to realize something I hadn't wanted to admit. I came to Greenville to help my father, but somewhere along the way, I began to need Elijah. Not just because he was kind, or patient, or steady, but because he reminded me I didn't have to do everything alone, that it was okay to lean, to ask, to receive. Elijah never made a grand gesture, no fireworks, no speeches. But one quiet day, when we were sitting on the porch with coffee, he asked, "What happens when your dad's fully recovered?" "I go back," I said, "to Denver, to my life." He nodded slowly. "Is that what you want?" I didn't answer right away, because suddenly I wasn't sure. That night, I opened my old planner, the one where I'd mapped out my life by months, goals, and clean little boxes. And I realized not a single one of those boxes had included this. This new version of life, of family, of self. I didn't know what was next, but I knew I didn't want to walk away from it. So I didn't. It's been over a year since that conversation. My dad's doing well, playing chess at the community center, helping with the church food drive, even driving short distances again. I've started a small wellness practice here in Greenville. Slower pace, deeper connections, more porch mornings, and fewer conference calls. And Elijah, he's still around. We're not perfect, but we're solid. Because I didn't just find someone to help me, I found someone to walk beside me,